अथ अष्टमोऽध्यायः अक्षरब्रह्मयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधियज्ञः कथं गोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्म उच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरो विसर्गः कर्म संज्ञितः अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरम् यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावं त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरम् तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मरयुध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्मामे वैश्यस्य संशयः अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन् कविं पुराणम् अनुशासितारम् अणोरणीयां समनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य धातारमचिन्त्य रूपम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम् यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ति विशन्ति यद्यतयो वीतरागाः यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं सङ्ग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणमास्थितो योगधारणाम् ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरान् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम् अनन्यचेताः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः आब्रह्मभुवनान् लोकाः पुनरावर्तिनोऽर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तं महर्यद्ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्तां तेहोरात्रविदो जनाः अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्यहरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यहरागमे परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यो व्यक्तो
start with our prayer. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Aviravirmayedhi. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanina Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. May we be protected, may we be nourished, may we strive with energy and vigor. May our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Om peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment and not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om peace, peace, peace. Om, O Bhagavad Gita, with which Partha was enlightened by Lord Narayana himself, and which was incorporated in the Mahabharata by the ancient sage Vyasa. The Blessed Mother, the destroyer of rebirth, showering down the nectar of Advaita and consisting of 18 chapters. Upon thee, O Bhagavad Gita, O loving Mother, I meditate. So this is meditation on Bhagavad Gita. Those who are sincere, they get enlightenment, and therefore this is a great scripture which shows that path. So that is why we should meditate on Bhagavad Gita. And reading is a great meditation. We have already seen in 11th chapter, Bhagavan said that those who establish their mind, they do my work, and who is my devotee, who is detached, who is without any enmity to all being, he attains me. So here, who is me? Because Vishwarup, he shown his universal form. So God not only in one place, but he is in all places, and he has all forms. So he who does work for me alone and has me for his goal is devoted to me, is freed from attachment and bears enmity towards no creature. He entereth unto me, O Pandava. So mat karma krit. So what about our karma? So whatever we do, yad yad karoti karma, whatever we do, that is to be done as worship of the divine. So then Arjuna asked the question, who is greater? The devotee who ever steadfast thus worship thee, and those who worship the imperishable, unmanifested, which of them are better, worse in yoga? So Bhagavan said that whosoever uh, puts his mind and all the time he worships me and with devotion, he is my closest devotee. And before this also Bhagavan said that four kinds of devotees are there. Chaturvidha bhajante mam, jana sukrutino Arjuna, all are good. But jnani tvatmaiva matam, the jnani, the knower of self, he is the closest, he is my heart, he is my self. So later Bhagavan said, okay, then he said few gradations, that in short we can say like ordinary people, when they do some charity, even without thinking, only for the good of others, that's also good. But then if he can do without any fruits, renouncing the fruits of action, that is also good. Then comes service to Narayana. So thinking that I am worshipping Narayana through my work, through my words, through my thinking. So this is also good. But this is outer. That's why we have started this serve God in man. So whatever we do, we have to think that we are giving this to God, not these homeless people. So mat karma krit, that is why it is translating the ideas into action. And then comes the inner discipline. So what is that? Like one should try to renounce. Renounce is not to be afraid of. First we have to know that this world, if we want to grab it also, it will not be held. It will go away from us. So if it goes away, it is better to renounce. Nothing we can hold for ourselves. Say strength or say resources, money, property, nothing remains with us. Even when we think that it belongs to us, that time also it is not with us. So if it is not with us, why should we bother about it? No, as a caretaker, we have that responsibility to take care for the good of others. So this is the renunciation, is very important. So this, at least first we can cultivate through mind and then gradually outward also. Then comes thinking that my beloved, my God is God of all. And then that he is also in all being. So he is not something out of this world. Whatever we perceive, whatever we experience, in and through those experiences is God whom we experience. Now after this, just because this what I said, Bhagavan said, but in different, we have thought about in different ways. Now this, in short, we can think this way. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara ananyanaiva yogena mam dhyantu pasate. Instead of doing all this, if you cannot do this, at least you try to do. If you cannot do that, then you try. Athitadapya shaktoshi matkarma paramo vama. That means, if you cannot do, at least do my work. So we have already thought about it in great details. So just I touched. Now comes the qualifications or qualities that should be inculcated in one's character. Why it is so? What we have already discussed that also. Like in all scriptures we find Kritartha Lakshanani, which are perfected, or the qualities that is perfect quality, that is to be inculcated. That's why in all scriptures it is prescribed. Sarvatraivahi adhyatma shastre kritartha lakshanani yani tanyeva sadhanani upadishyante. That means those perfected, or those qualities which are perfect, the signs and symptoms, the characteristics in one's life, that should be cultivated. So what are those? These are enumerated in various scriptures. Here also we find, in the second chapter, in other chapters also we find, in 16th chapter you'll find Abhayam Saptasham Shuddhi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, fearlessness, etc., etc., so many. Here also we have some qualities. So we are now considering this Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha. Yeah, before that we'll go a little. No, yes. Yeah, we'll go from the 13th. Like these are the qualities we have to consider again and again. So we'll go from 14th, but 13th also. Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. So first is that one should be free of hatred. Now we talk about free. Swamiji said, each soul is potentially divine. To manifest this divinity is the goal of life. So first we have to manifest this divinity. Do it by work or worship or psychic control or knowledge, and be free. Free from what? As of now we are bound by body. So it is difficult to jump out of the body. But generally our mind is not bound in the body. We have to free our mind. And that is what is being said here. So to be free means we should be mentally free. See, here also, like, we have political freedom. In India also now we have political freedom. And also freedom of speech. Anyone can say anything here. So freedom, that means no obstruction. But if we have some say differences, then what will happen? Then the hatred creeps in. That is why Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. Now question comes, that means should I lie down in filth? That is not the point. Adveshta means not to harbor any hatred. And it is not objective. In a subjective one can understand whether I am hating someone. Is it because of my hate that something happens? Or is it because of this is my duty that, a teacher sometimes has to admonish a student. Parents will have to draw the shortcomings of a word, a child. So it is not the hatred, but it is whatever is duty. So Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. Not to hate anyone, free from hatred. And not only one kind, like some people hate, like dirty creatures. Some people hate dogs, some maybe cat. Some people, hog. Hmm. Yeah, like so various people are there. So anyway, uh, but here Sarvabhutana means all beings, good, bad, indifferent. It doesn't mean that I go and embrace a tiger. The person will go away, and tiger will have a nice lunch. So Advishta Sarvabhutanam, more it is subjective, how we take ourselves. Then Maitraha, Karuna Evacha, and friendliness. And here compassion, but what we understand in the light of Sri Ramakrishna, that we are not to be compassionate, but we are of serving, with serving attitude. So, but we can have, say, feeling of mm, fellow feeling. That means the empathy, sympathy with the person. Not out of compassion, oh, how lowly it is. Not like that. Not to look down upon some creatures, but it is to uplift oneself. It is to unbound. It is to spread oneself in the universe. So sympathy, empathy is better. Yes, Karuna, that time this word was taken, but Sri Ramakrishna changed as Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. So Karuna Ivacha. Nirmama. Nirmama means without the feeling of me and mine. Nirmama, who is free from the idea of mineness. Does it mean that we should throw it away? No. We are to honor everything. As Holy Mother taught that Nalindridi, after cleaning, she threw away the broom. And Mother scolded. It takes the same time if you put in its place with respect. Even we need that broom to clean our houses. So Mother taught that way. So Nirmama does not mean that we should disrespect anything. Rather, everything belongs to God. This openness should come. Nirahankara and egotism. Egotism also should be avoided, should not come. I mean, in a perfect person, he is free of ego, as Sri Ramakrishna. He would not able to utter this ami, aham. So he used to say this instead of aham or ami or me or I. So this absence of egotism is very important. Sama dukkha sukha kshami, and he is equanimous in sorrow and in good days. That means when one is happy days. Samadukha, even-minded in pain and pleasure. Kshami, and forbearing. He forgives, because when you see a child is doing something, you don't punish, rather you forgive. Samadukha sukha kshami. Now santushta. Santushta is very important. When we are santushta, when we are satisfied, if I have some wants, then I will not be satisfied. I want something, I want this and I want that. So the person who has wants or desires, he cannot be satisfied. Who is satisfied? only though he who has Purna, Purna means who has fulfilled himself. What is Purna? Say truth. Truth is Purna. You cannot transcend truth. Nothing is beyond truth. You cannot transcend, it is unsurpassable. Now, postmodernism. Nowadays, some words are there. Modernism and postmodernism. Nothing is there post-truth. What is truth? Truth cannot be surpassed. Satyam, jnanam, knowledge. When you know something, you cannot surpass that. You know it. Okay. The scope is there because something we don't know. But when there comes fulfillment, there is that truth, which you have known that truth. You cannot surpass that truth. So, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, and infinity. Infinity, you cannot surpass infinity. What is there beyond infinity? So, when one is Purna, then only one is satisfied. So, Santushtaha. Satatam. Satatam is all the time. It is not like now he is Purna and after 5 minutes he is Apurna. No. If one is satisfied, one should be satisfied all the time. So, it is not artificial that I say, oh, I am satisfied, but mentally I am thinking, I should get this, I should get that. Santushta Satatam Yogi. Yogi. Yogi means who is united, who is unified. Or we can say Ashtanga Marga, Yama, 5 kinds of Yama, Niyama, 5 kinds of Niyama. What is not to be done, what is to be done, and then asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, and who has attained that unification. So, such a person is called yogi. And yogi, here Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that samahita chitta, whose mind is completely appeased or tranquilized or calmed, samahita, and it is merged in God. Yogi. Santushtam satatam, santushtaha satatam yogi. So samahita chitta means who has practiced shamadamadi shat sampatti. So, as we know from Vedantic point of view, that one should have renunciation, the first vairagya, and then viveka, vairagya, shamdamadi, shat sampatti, and mumukshutva. Vivek means power of discrimination. That one should be very careful what is eternal, what is temporary. So vivek, vairagya, whatever is temporary, whatever is like limited, one should be able to renounce that. So vivek, vairagya, and shama dama, controlling of one's inner senses, controlling of outer senses, and total withdrawal from senses. Shama dama uparati, titiksha, that forbearance, shraddha, and one-pointed devotion, and samadhana, and also mumukshutva. These are the sadhana. After this sadhana, when one attains that state, so that is called yogi, who has attained that state. So samahita chitta. And Swami Vivekananda also describes Sri Ramakrishna as samahita chitta. So we see that. And then yogi, yatatma. Yatatma, he who has controlled his self. Now here it is not that self what we talk about, that self, Atman. But here body-mind complex, who has controlled his body-mind complex. So here yatatma sanyata svabhava, that who has controlled his impulses. Because our senses always go out and want to see something, and eyes want to hear something. So these, who has controlled all the external and internal senses. So he is yatatma. So body, mind, intellect, who has controlled all these three are called yatatma. And dridha nishchaya. Dridha nishchaya means who has established in that self, and there is no doubt about it anymore. Dridha nishchaya. And Swamiji, when describes Sri Ramakrishna, he also pointed out that Sri Ramakrishna is Dridha Nishchaya, who has achieved that, and he is totally poised for that. That means here that supreme truth, supreme being or divine. Dridha Nishchaya. Now comes Mayyarpita Manubuddhi. He who has offered his mind and intellect. He's when he's her, not to distinguish, with mind and intellect fixed in me. So what happens? Mind is sankalpa vikalpatmak. That means we grab something, then we leave that and grab something else. So sankalpa. Say, like example, like, oh, today I have to go for shopping. If I go for then some vegetables, oh, I have to, after vegetable, then I have to cook and then to go there and there. So one series of thoughts come, it's mind. And Nishchayatmika vritti is buddhi, intellect. Nishchayatmika means this is a book and not a pen. So we know for certain this is this. So that's called intellect. So Maya Arpita Manobuddhi, that means who has offered the mind and intellect in me. So there is no doubt left. And even if he wants to have sankalpa of something, he only has sankalpa for me only. It's it is what happens. What is the point here? I want to draw it. Devotion. Generally, what happens? Belief system. That believe this. Yeshu is God, or Ramakrishna is God, or Kali is God. So mind is satisfied. But tomorrow, mind may create problem. And intellect also will create. Why should I consider him as God? Why? So one who has removed all such doubts, such a person, why, how? That means he has attained that state where there is no conflict left at all. That is why we find Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna worshipped Mother Kali. And in course of time, Totapuri came, Advaita Acharya. And he taught about non-dualism. Now whenever he wanted to meditate, the smiling face of mother used to come to his mind. But his guru said, you have to concentrate and this is your goal. So he tried and he said, I cannot do it. Then the naked one said, why not? How it cannot be? Hoga, kyun nahi hoga? So he took a piece of glass and pierced that in between his brows and said, concentrate there. And this time he tried, Sri Ramakrishna tried, and even this time also smiling face of mother appeared before him. But he took the sword of knowledge and cut her asunder in two. And immediately he attained samadhi. So what is the point? There is a great conflict. Dvaitavad, Vishishtadvaitavad, Advaitavad. But until or unless you achieve that, you cannot enjoy even Dvaita also. Dvaita always, afraid and God-fearing. Why should I fear God? He is my own being. He is my nearest and dearest one. Why should I should fear God? People say God-fearing, always fearful. When after departing from this, and he will order, go to hell. So we are afraid of that. No, nothing to worry about. He is our real self. Only, attaining knowledge, then only comes, oh, this whole world is one. Even Vishishtadvaita has got some difference. So, difference means there is fear. Dvaitat bhayam bhavati. From two comes fear. If someone else is there, always this will be there, some conflict. So, after attaining Advaita, then you come down. That's why Sri Ramakrishna said, when he asked Narendranath, what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? So Narendranath said, I want to be merged in Samadhi. And after 3-4 days, after enjoying 3-4 days, then I could come out and take a little food and then go back to Samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna scolded him. What are you thinking? I didn't think that you are so mean-minded. I thought you will be like a banyan tree and weary passers-by will come and rest under your shade, and lots of birds and other creatures will come and make nest into that, and you are thinking about yourself only. I'll teach you something which is even beyond Advaita. So this is the point. This is a very important point. So there is a shloka, Dvaitam mohaya bodhat prak. We have sense of duality, you, me, this whole world. So before attaining, that means because of my moha, my confusion, I have sense of duality. So Dvaitam mohaya bodhat prak. Before enlightenment, this sense of Dvaita comes. Bodhe advaitam manishaya. Then after attaining knowledge, then we see it is Advaita. We experience it is Advaita. It's a scientist. The physicist, atomic, molecular physicist. So what they see, this whole world is an ocean of matter. They see unity. Though they fight also, like when they fight, they don't think this world is dual. This world is diverse. But intellectually they understand that whole world is nothing but energy and energy alone. And if you see the whole universe is nothing but energy and energy alone. So after this sense, then one comes down. So bodhe advaita advaite manishaya. Bodhat urdham tu tajgeyam. Now after attaining this, then only one can understand what is the reality. And advaitat api sundaram. It is even better or beautiful than, or most beautiful than anything else. Advaitat api sundaram. Even better than Advaita. That's why Sri Ramakrishna said, what are you saying? I'll teach you something which is better than Advaita. So Sri Ramakrishna, see, he's traveling from Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Advaita, and coming down, going up. An example, he said, the prince has got permission to go anywhere he likes, but anybody cannot go. Some people have some limitation up to this and not that. But prince has got whole power. Say here, president. President has power to go anywhere or whatever he wants to do. So, why should one be limited? But it will not happen just saying this. One should attain first and then understand. So one should attain that, like PhD. After doing PhD, then one can even teach primary classes. So, here comes the same thing, that Mayarpita Manabuddhi, who has permanently merged his mind and also intellect. That means he has attained all. Yo Mad Bhakta, and who is devotee of me? Devotee, Bhaj Sevayam. Bhakta means Bhaj Sevayam, who serves me. Not only, Swami Vivekananda said, oh God, how beautiful nose you have. Oh, what a nice kundala is hanging there on your ears. Not like this. That's also part of it. No problem. Archanam, Vandanam, worshipping and singing the glories of God. Dasyam, Sokyam, and thinking that I am his servant and I am his friend. All these are good. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Shravanam means like hearing his glory. Kirtanam, singing his glories. Vishnu. Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, and also thinking. And sometimes, while before you sleep, you may think that I am serving my Ishta, chosen ideal, and I am pressing his feet like a M. Used to go to Sri Ramakrishna and used to press his feet. So Pada Sevanam. These are all good. So mind is totally merged in him. And not only mind, intellect, doubts come. So doubts will go after attaining that unity. Then all doubts will go. Chiddante, hridaya grantiks, vidyate hridaya grantiks, chiddante sarva samsaya. All the doubts will be removed. And also all doubts will go. All knots and knots of heart will be cut asunder. So this is the meaning here. Mayarpita Manabuddhi Yo Mad Bhaktaha. He who is my devotee. And my devotee means who serves me. Same Priyaha. He is my dear one. Another point, say Shankaracharya. He is considered as Advaita Acharya. Advaita, non-dual. Everything is one. There are no two. Neha nanasti kinchana. There are not many. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. And aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman. And dualists will shudder. And Vishishta Advaitavadin also, they have the nothing is like Brahman. Advaita will say there is nothing other than Brahman, but Vishishta Advaita will say nothing better than Brahman. Nothing is near Brahman. So it is little change, but doesn't matter. What I am saying, after Advaita, then we can adopt everything. As Sri Ramakrishna, as Swamiji and Mother, as Shankaracharya. There is a shloka. Yattad adrishyam agrahyam agotram avarnam. He who has no eyes, no hearing, no category. We have already studied in Mundaka Upanishad. And achakshu asrotram apani padam. And who has no eyes, and there is no feet and hands. All these. And then nityam vibhum sarvagatam. Nityam, eternal. Vibhum is all pervading. Sarvagatam. He can travel to anywhere, everywhere. Sushukshmam yat abhyam tad abhyam yat bhuta yonim paripashyanti dhira. Who is the source of all creation? Only the wise see him. Paripashyanti. Paripashyanti here means not seeing like eyes, through eyes, but who realizes. So he is good at that also, and Advaitic. And he also composed so many hymns. Hymns of Mother, on Shiva, on Ganga, even Goda, no, not Godavari, that Narmada. So, if a person attains the highest, then he sees that everything is the same one. Otherwise, doubts will come, doubts will assail you. That is why Mayi Arpita Manobuddhi. Like Shankaracharya another said, Nadatmakam Saguna Nirgunam Cha Advitiyam. Nadatmakam, it is like sound, Saguna, with qualities, with attributes, without attributes, and Advitiyam, non-dual. But again, he is like Shiva. So we find in Sri Ramakrishna all these depicted in so very well, so nicely. And it is so enjoyable. So we can understand the importance of this. So here, Mayi Arpita Manobuddhi Yo Madbhakta Same Priya. He is my dear. It is not to say he is more, he is less. Only before this he said, yes, all are good, but Jnani Tvatmaiva Matam. Jnani here not who is following the path of knowledge. No. He who has attained. He is myself. Jnani Tvatmaiva Matam. Same Priya. Now we go to the next. Yasmannod vijate loko, lokannod vijate chayaha, harsha marsha bhayodvegahi, mukto yah sachame priyaha. He by whom the world is not agitated, and who cannot be agitated by the world, who is freed from joy, envy, fear, and anxiety. He is dear to me. Now, what happens? We have some people who are very hard, like stone. So what happens? And nothing bothers to them because you can hurt him, but he won't be hurt. So what happens? Through his behavior, he also hurts others because he is not mindful about others' sensitivity. On the other hand, some are very sensitive, very, very super sensitive. Even if you say something, oh, that means this, and that means this, and that means this, why he said this? Maybe I'm not welcome here, or something, like very super sensitive. So what happens? They cannot hurt others also, but they are hurt all the time. The first type of people, they are not hurt themselves, but they hurt others. Sometimes unwillingly, without intention. So what is the way then? We should be like, should we be like that? Sometimes yes. Why? When we are receiving something, we should be hard enough so that nothing affects us. So that's why, what we do. We are traveling by air. So we have a fuselage where we sit and we go. But if it is open, recently it happened that one door went away. So it was exposed, and then so it was, and sometimes many people die also. So there should be a kavach. Kavach means like fuselage to protect oneself from any vicissitude of the nature or vagaries of nature. So we are so sensitive, like when we sit in the car, Swami, is it temperature? Is it okay? Okay? No, don't bother. So even 2 degrees up or down, then we are gone. Oh, Swami, is too hot outside. Oh, yes. So like super sensitivity. If does it mean that we should not be sensitive? No. Then what will happen when I'm driving? If I'm not sensitive, then I'll hurt others. Swami, it's so very hot. So I should be sensitive, no doubt, but for others. And I should not be sensitive, rather I should be very hard for myself. So this is the way. So there is a shloka in Ramayana. Rama is considered as Vajradapi Kathorani Mriduni Kusumadapi. He was like hard. Hard like what? Like Vajra. Vajra means thunderbolt. Very hard. And Mriduni Kusumadapi, and he is softer than the flowers. And that's why he would forgive first. But when that also could not work or did not work, then he would be very hard. In Chandi we also find that chitte kripa samar nishthurata. So mother is like compassion in heart, but very hard, like the hard warriors. Samar nishthurata. They don't bother. They don't think about it. They kill. So mother, when fighting with Shumba, Nishumba, etc., chitte kripa. For them, she is full of compassion. But she is like battle hardened. I was thinking that word. Okay, so this is Lokottaranam Chetamsi Konu Vijnatum Arhati. So this is that we should be like that. That another During uh, the vestiture of the sacred thread, the ritual is there. One stands on a stone to teach the child that world will be like stone. You have to be like that. Anything comes, it shouldn't affect you, because now you are getting acquainted with this world, and be hard like stone when any impulses come to you. So this way it is taught. So here, yasman no dvijate loku. But a perfected man is not disturbed by anything. See why it is stressed so much. One is free. Free from what? Free from all mental, uh, say, mental, say, problems, what we can say, disturbances. If one gets disturbed for small thing, or 2 degree high or 2 degree less, how can one concentrate? Cannot concentrate. So his mind should be equanimous in difficulties and in easiness. Whenever it's good time, very good. When it is bad time, it's okay. As situation takes us in. So yasman nod vijate loko, lokan nod vijate chayaha. He by whom the world is not agitated, so he will not disturb others, because he is sensitive. When he is dealing with others, he knows that maybe I should be careful about not to say this, rather I should say this way. Who cannot be agitated by the world? And even he is tortured. Say Jesus was tortured, but he was not agitated. Okay. This is what God wants me to do, and that's why people worship him. So, even if you are agitated, what will happen? Who will suffer? Say, suppose he has a person, right? Say, I am agitated. So who is suffering? I am suffering. Disease will come. We cannot stop it. So what to do? Forbear. Sri Ramakrishna is teaching. He who forbears remains. He who does not forbear is destroyed. So one should forbear. Now, forbear means what? If something wrong is happening, should it be one should bear it? No, whatever duty asks you to do, that you have to do. Say this teaching was given to Arjuna, and what Arjuna was supposed to do? Kill other people. He should do his duty. That is what God was teaching. So whatever duty is ordained, one should perform that. But internally one should not get disturbed, neither he should disturb others. Then he will not lose his equanimity. He by whom the world is not agitated, and who cannot be agitated by the world. And then comes harsha, amarsha. Harsha means elation. And we start jumping up and down when we get something favorable to us. Even, like small thing like game. People, say jump about. And when they win, they cannot contain their happiness. Maybe it's temporary. So one should understand that what is temporary. It will come and go. Again, next game, they may be defeated. So one should not be elated, nor like suffering say, depression. Most of the time here what happens? People are depressed. 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3 is depressed, for, suffers from depression. In in Australia, 1 out of 4. So here is more. And as um, wealth grows, this is normal. That is why people resort to drugs and this and that. So, harsha, amarsha, bhaya, udvega. So 4 things are there. Harsha, amarsha. Harsha is elation, and amarsha means envy, but amarsha is here. Hey, irritability. So what is the best medicine for that? Tolerance. Tolerance, very important. Harsha, amarsha, bhaya, bhaya, fear. Fear from whom? Dvaitat bhayam bhavati. And say, suppose we suffer from fear. Fear for what? From death. But death will come. Why to be afraid? And whatever is there now, it will pass away. Even if someone is elated, that also will pass away. So nothing is permanent here, so why should we worry? Harsha, marsha, bhaya, udvega. Udvega, worry. We are worried about it and anxious about what will happen next. Now people are thinking, de-dollarization is happening. So what will happen? The economy will plunge. So all kinds of fears are there. So he who is free from all these, he is my dear devotee. He by whom the world is not agitated and who cannot be agitated by the world, who is freed from joy, envy, fear and anxiety, he is dear to me. That means he is free. The person who has this state of mind, he is free. And it does not happen in one way only, devotion and or knowledge. This should be taken all together. Then comes that state. And that's why Bhagavan says, Sacha me priya. He is very dear to me. Dear to me, he is my self. Our self is most dear to us. What else? You say something comes and tomorrow it will not be here. His laptop or say mobile phone, and it will get old and we'll throw it away. So that cannot be dear. The precious thing that we have is ourself. So God's most precious thing is what? His self. Who is this self? He who has cultivated and attained this kind of qualities or characters, such a person is no other than me. That's why he is so dear. Devotee always wants to know, God is, it's very high. How can we? No. Tato mam tattvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. By knowing me in reality, he enters into me. Until or unless we are unified, how can we be established in fearlessness? It's impossible. We can be established in fearlessness when we are one. And after one, yes, we can retain as many things as we want, that's fine. Dvaitam mohaya bodhat prak, bodhe advaite manishaya, bodhat urdham tu tajgeyam, advaitat api sundaram. So first we have to attain that state where that non-dual, first we worship one form, like say Sri Ramakrishna. Then we try to see Sri Ramakrishna in all, Vishwarup. And then he is even not all, he is more than that. Sri Ramakrishna said, he is Dvaita, he is Vishishtadvaita, he is lot more. We don't know what, we cannot say God is this and not that. Aro kato ki. Tini Dvaita, tini Vishishtadvaita, tini Advaita, and tini aro kato ki. More than what? More. How can we know? Even knowledge is limited. Mind is limited. Thinking is limited. How can we think His glory by a limited instrument? We cannot. So this is what is said here. Harsha marsha bhayadvego muktaha yah sacha me priya. He is my priya. And priyo hi jnanino atyartham ham sacha mama priya. On 7th chapter he said, I am very dear to jnanis. So I am very dear to jnanis and jnanis are dear to me. Jnani here means bhakta also. It's not that only those who worship through knowledge. So we'll stop here. Yeah, these are important because when we contemplate on this and try to imbibe these teachings, then only our fulfillment will come. Any question? Yes.
If I'm understanding you correctly, you have been saying that realize Advaita first, by knowing Advaita, you will also understand and Advaita. Is that correct?
Okay. If I say a little restatement, not to limit by Dvaita and Vishishtadvaita, include that also. I may not say that you attain that first. Include that also, don't exclude.
It's a little bit like taking the high dive into the deep end, the highest high dive, before you even have to kind of get into the
So, Dvaita, whatever way, one perceives as fine. Only don't exclude that. I think it's fair, right? Then only all the doubts will go.
Yeah, it's like the dive off the high dive into the deep end, and all else is there.
Yes. One may not take the highest in the beginning. It's difficult. Bhagavan himself said that kleshu adhikatarastesham abhyakta asakta chetasam. It's difficult. Abhyakta, which is not defined, which is unmanifested. How can you concentrate there? We also take Dvaita, Sri Ramakrishna. And then his family. But if we limit here only, then we are limited. We cannot be free. Free means at least mentally will be limited. So we should be open to include other attitude also. That's the point. We see our prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shantihi 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Now one point more. See, when we understand something belongs to me as of now, still it is not belongs to me. Say, suppose a mobile phone or a car. It looks like it belongs to me, but it doesn't. Right? So we know this. So what is the harm to have renunciation. You know, it's very difficult. You know, here Sri Ramakrishna or Swamiji also said that it's very difficult to talk about renunciation here. But that's the fact of life. Now, I am talking to you. It's the dual sense. Based on something which is unifying. Say same sky, same floor. Unifying things are there. How can we deny this? Even if people deny it, you cannot deny it. So, we cannot exclude. No, we are always afraid, okay, somebody will find faults with us. So we say, okay, include. Okay, thank you.